Hi, everyone. I'm Jody Schwan. Welcome to another edition of Talent Thursday. We've got another great conversation coming up with a little bit of an under the radar employer, I would say. If you're wondering, is Denise Gazetta in a slightly different spot? She's moved offices since we last talked to you, so I can see she's getting settled in there. But still, of course, just like us here in downtown Sioux Falls, where there's been a lot happening today. We've had a busy one and a great conversation ahead. So, hi, Denise. Good to see you. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest?
Hi, Jody, and welcome to Thursday. We want to welcome Jacob from US AutoForce. Just so excited to have Jacob join us today.
Jacob, I am just like probably many of our viewers getting to know US Auto Force. I'm a bit ashamed that I don't know more about the company because while you have a nice presence in Sioux Falls, this is a large organization, right? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so US AutoForce is actually a division of US Venture. So US Venture owns five companies throughout the United States that all deal in some form of distribution, sustainable energy, things like that. But US AutoForce itself really has over 70 years of experience, and we have over 70 warehouses across the country, and one of them being in Sioux Falls.
So tell me about the Sioux Falls operation. What kind of activity happens there? And what has your experience been like in our market?
Yeah, so really what we're doing is the distribution of tires, undercar parts, lubricants, things like that, mainly tires. And what we're doing is we have material handlers who are picking, pulling, loading, unloading tires and undercar parts in our warehouse. It is a fairly large warehouse as well. And then we're distributing them to our customers. So think large tire retailers, right? Auto repair shops, auto dealerships, and kind of anything in between.
Yeah, so these guys are up in Northwest Sioux Falls if you're trying to figure out where they're at. Denise, how did the company come across your radar?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I had a visitor one day, followed by an email, and I just said, let's get on the phone. And when I got on the phone, I was pleasantly greeted with a lot of information about our programs, including this program. And I thought, oh my gosh, how did I not know? And so, you talk about the outreach that we've been doing because we know that we need to communicate our programs better. And so I just got on the phone. It was Brenda, lovely. And she said, I want to introduce you to Jacob. And I was like, let's make it happen. So, and
Yeah,
it was very, very quick.
we've seen good growth in warehousing in Sioux Falls too.
Absolutely.
So, if you were watching this, and maybe you've got someone in the family or a friend who's already in this industry, who's maybe looking for a new opportunity, I know we have those folks around Sioux Falls. What maybe sets US Auto Force apart, Jacob, as an employer that they should look at?
Yeah, you nailed a couple of the things, but as you mentioned, the industry is growing. We are also growing, right? People always need tires. So we are growing very rapidly, which is a great thing for not only us, but also for our employees because there's tons of growth opportunities, tons of development opportunities. And really, we've been around a long time. One of our core values is caring relationships, right? We're going to take care of our team members because we want to make sure we're here for another 70 years, right? So we're really here to, take care of our employees, and then with that, take care of our customers and make sure everybody's still rolling along, right?
Now, of course, it's graduation season, so I have to ask about this. We've got new grads, high school, college. Is US Auto Force a fit for a first job? I mean, do you hire entry level? Do you train from there, or do you usually look for people with experience?
In the warehouse, yes. So in the driving realm, I would say no. We're going to want you to have driven a box truck, right? We're typically driving those a little bit bigger, like 22, 26-foot box trucks. So we'll want some experience before getting you out on the road in one of those. But in the warehouse, yes. If you've used, a cherry picker, right, you got to be okay with heights. We go up 25 feet in the air. So if you don't like heights, may not be the job for you. So I do always like to throw that out there. But we'll train on any of our equipment, obviously our safety practices and everything like that as well.
Denise, I think about the students that you've worked with through career connections and other pathways where, here's an employer right in town that could become that first job to give them some really valuable work experience.
Absolutely. The first job, and also maybe even, an employer for the rest of your career, right? Because you talk about, Jacob was mentioning, it's a growing industry. It really is a growing industry. I mean, our industrial parks are continuing to attract a lot of companies, a lot of interest. But one of the things that kind of I bring back is a couple years ago when I was at a different company, we would track how much growth there was in a particular market. And as we all are kind of shifting and having more to the in-person, and going on site somewhere versus the virtual, you're ordering something from anywhere, you just saw this big, huge hit. And I think about all the kids that are coming through, just as you mentioned, the Career Connections program, and their, kind of appetite for where they're buying and how they're buying and how they're purchasing items. And really where they're coming into an environment where they want to be part of a team. So I love the fact that you said, we really customer centric, we take care of our employees first. And they also want to make sure that they get that training, the development, but there's sustainability. That's really key in today's market. So I would say to the parents out there, yes, this is a great company. Yes, it's a sustainable company. Yes, it's a sustainable market, and your kid's always going to have, a job. So
As
Yeah.
long as as long as we need tires, right?
that's right.
Is always kind of my go-to there. And yeah, it's one of those, I even think for people with experience, right? Maybe you've had a not so good warehouse experience, right? Or things like that. I'm going to tell you, right? It's a physical job, right? You're hauling tires. Tires are not light. But the nice thing about tires is that they roll, right? So, with that being said, you're gonna be able to, be hands-on. You're not sitting behind a desk, right? So if you want to get up and moving, it's gonna be a, good opportunity for you as well.
And I can
Definitely.
attest to everybody always needs tires. I've had since I've been in this job, just 5.5 years, I've gone through 3 sets of tires. So,
Well, and I think warehousing too, it's growing for a reason post-COVID. People want to have that product on hand. They want to have it close. They don't want to maybe take unnecessary risks in their supply chain. So good to hear that you all are growing as well, Jacob. Any other thoughts maybe as far as the culture that people are going to find? Obviously, you got a lot of locations nationwide, so I'm sure culture can vary just a bit from site to site, but bigger picture, what are some of the things that you guys really lift up and value?
Yeah, so like I had mentioned, caring relationships is our number one. Right behind that is going to be like our entrepreneurial spirit, right? We want people to have that opportunity to grow, and to really, get everything they want out of it, right? If you want to be a driver forever, that's awesome. We've got great opportunities. We're going to have room for you to grow in that, right? I think about, we have drivers who've become dispatchers, right? They want to get on the other side and dispatch trucks. Same with material handlers. We have people who move into our inventory roles or help with returns or things like that, right? More customer facing. So there's a lot of options there. But then let's say you're like 5 years down the road, like, hey, I want to be a leader now, right? We have programs to help you become a leader, right? How do you become a leader of that warehouse? How do you lead a team? Um, we even have, like trainers, right? People who've been drivers for a really long time and they just love driving and love teaching people how to drive. They help train our associates, right? So lots of opportunities there. So I would say that's a big differentiator. And then the other part of it too, is really going to be with, our benefits are, we're going to be here, right? Everything's effective day one, medical, dental, and vision. We want to take care of you. We want to make sure you have the program in place to make sure you're in the right spot, so that you can come to work every day and, do everything you could ever want with your paycheck, right?
So that's a lot of what talent of any age wants to hear, isn't it, Denise?
absolutely, absolutely. Again, I think if you look at the market that we're in, and you're looking at, companies are doing, and I know I could certainly speak to this. I've worked at a couple companies that maybe the name wasn't, as you didn't necessarily promote the company because you had so many customers that you were servicing. I'm thinking, Jacob, you guys are a little bit the same, like you work with a lot of different customers, but the sustainability of some of these companies and the viability of these jobs, the ability to have a career someplace, the investment that I'm hearing that's being made alongside these benefits, because talent today, and rightfully so, is coming in and asking really good questions right off the bat. They want to know about their 401k. They want to know about healthcare. It's surprising to me, I was a very accident-prone child, so I kind of thought, that maybe that was just me, but all kids, when I'm interviewing these kids for, they're seniors or they're going to be going into college, they all talk about healthcare now, which is so incredibly important. They should. So,
Jacob, what is the best way to connect and learn more about opportunities within the company?
Yeah, so if you're just looking at jobs, you're like, hey, I just want to check out more about what he said, see what schedules are out there, see what really the job entails, nitty gritty. If you just go to our careers website, which is just going to be careers.usventure.com. And really with that, I always just like to throw out there, it brings it to the US Venture career site. Again, that's our parent company. You're in the right spot. If you search Sioux Falls, your Sioux Falls jobs are going to come up.
Perfect.
So I always just like to call it out. If you start digging around the website, you're going to find a ton of stuff about all of our other companies as well, which is very interesting. But if you're looking for these specifically, just search Sioux Falls in the career page.
Drill down to Sioux Falls. Okay, great. And a fair amount of openings right now, if they were to do that, would you say?
We do, yep. So we have material handler positions on both first and second shift, as well as non-CDL driving positions.
Okay, so good flexibility there, depending on what your schedule requires and maybe how you're wired as far as what shift you'd prefer to work. So good to hear that. Again, if you're just joining us, this is US AutoForce we are talking about. A really great employer to check out in Sioux Falls if you're open to warehousing positions, driving related positions, and a great company culture. So good to get connected with you as well, Jacob. We appreciate your time. And Denise, thanks as always for another great Talent Thursday.
um,
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.